Hello, and welcome to another exciting episode of Secrets to Real Estate Investing. And I am so excited about our guest today, who not only just has a couple of decades of fantastic experience, but it's an interesting path that she has ended up on. So I'd like to introduce you to Paige Panzarello. She has over 20 years experience in all kinds of aspects of real estate. She's been a landlord, she's done ground up construction, and she's even owned her own construction company. Woman power, love it. Anyway, I really admire her and just want to say welcome to the show, Paige.
Well, thank you so much, Holly. It's such an honor to be here with you today, and I'm excited to talk about real estate as always.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to have you. So let's fill our listeners in, if we can, a little bit on your background, your backstory, your path, and how you got to where you are today.
Sure, absolutely. As you said in the intro, I have been in real estate for over 20 years. I've done a lot of everything, to be honest. I started out as a landlord. I went into then land development. I started several different corporations that kind of all worked in conjunction with each other, including a construction company, and we had 36 employees. So we were in Parker, Arizona. We were the largest private employer in all of the county, which was I was pretty proud about that. I have done tax deed sales, tax lien sales. I have fixed and flipped. I have wholesaled. And now I'm really in, of course, multifamily, etc. And now I'm really venturing down the path of non-performing notes, which has been hugely rewarding and very exciting, and a really interesting way to invest in real estate that not a lot of people know about. So I'm really excited to talk to you about that today.
Well, I'm excited to hear you talk about it. So why don't we just jump right in and talk about notes, since you're so passionate about them, like what types of notes there are and where you can buy them and how you buy them and all of that.
Okay, well, first of all, a lot of people don't know what is a note. Mm-hmm. So a note is when you buy a house, as you know, unless you have 100% cash to pay for your house, you will sign what's called a promissory note to the bank, which is your promise to pay. And then you have to sign also a deed of trust or a mortgage, depending upon what state you're in. And that document attaches the house as collateral for your promise to pay. So those two documents go hand in hand. When it becomes non-performing, that's when the borrower stops paying their mortgage. And that's where I step in. And there are a variety of different notes that are available. You can get performing notes, which is when you just buy, the borrower's continuing to pay, or you can get a non-performing note. And then there's about 150 other varieties in between, which we don't have time to talk about right now.
Really? Yeah. I don't even know what I don't know about notes. Myself. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I'm assuming that the performing notes are priced pretty high compared to the non-performing notes. That's where the opportunity lies, right?
That's correct. And that's the reason that I invest in non-performing notes. You are absolutely 100% correct that the performing notes, the yield is certainly profitable, and it's great for that passive investor where they just want mailbox money. So every month they get their check, which is terrific. But when in non-performing notes, we have the ability to have a variety of different exit strategies, which will also allow a variety of different profit potentials, which is where I come in. And it also gives me a unique ability to be able to fuse my two passions, which is real estate and helping people. Because there are a lot of people out there that are really hurting, Holly. Life happens to them. They've been downsized from a job, they had a medical issue, they had a divorce, whatever, and they haven't been able to pay on their house. And I'm in a really unique position where I can come in, because we buy these at a really deep discount, and I can come in and actually help a homeowner that wants to stay in their house, stay in their house, which is really fulfilling.
That's really cool. Why don't you tell us about an example or, a story of where you did that? one of your success stories there.
One of our success stories. We actually have one right now that we're working on in Memphis, Tennessee. And the borrower's husband passed away. And so she is on a very limited income. Her debt is fairly high, but because the husband got sick, her husband got sick, she wasn't able to pay because she's been paying his medical bills. And so we approached her. She's got excellent credit, believe it or not, but she just couldn't sustain the house, and she's been in this house for over 30 years. So we're in a really unique position where we've been talking with her, and it looks like we're going to be able to work it out and readjust through what's called a forbearance agreement, and get her performing again. And then at the end of 8 to 12 months, we'll be able to then modify her loan and keep her in her home, which is really fulfilling.
That's awesome. Yeah. So that sounds all fantastic for the borrower. But tell us about your side of it, like what you paid for the note, what you hope to get out of it, and how it's a success for you too.
Okay. It's definitely going to be a very profitable venture. We paid, the borrower currently owed $100,000 on the house. The current market value is only $80,000 for the house. We ended up paying $37,500 for the note. So, and we've required that the borrower come in with a reinstatement fee, which is tremendous, because she's got to have a little skin in the game. She hasn't paid for a while. We were able to modify her payment for now and get it down to a manageable level. And then, so we are collecting our reinstatement fee, which is a nice little chunk of money. And then we're going to be able to cash flow from there. So she's going to pay us every single month. And then at the end, there's a program that's called FHA 1023. Now, FHA 1023 is specifically designed for banks, well, such as ourselves, to work with the borrower, and they will come in and refinance us out after 12 months at 97.5% of current market value.
Wow.
So the borrower gets to stay in their house. We make a very nice little chunk of cash, plus we've cash flowed for 12 months. And at the end, the borrower gets to stay in a manageable position with a manageable unpaid balance, basically the balance of her mortgage we're reducing, and a manageable monthly mortgage payment. It's win-win for everybody.
That's awesome. So you invested $37,500.
Mm-hmm.
And explain like how you're collecting money, how much you expect to collect, and what your total return on investment you hope for is, like kind of what the schematics of the deal are.
Well, okay, so we paid $37,000. We expect that there's going to be there's extra costs that are associated with it. We call them workout costs. So we anticipated in this particular deal about $5,000 for those workout costs. So what will happen is $37,500 plus the $5,000. Okay, now the borrower has come in, again, this property is worth $80,000, current market value as it sits. So the borrower and the unpaid balance is a little over $100,000. So what will happen is we have required her to come in with a $5,000 reinstatement fee that we apply to the arrearage behind, and we tack it on at the end of our forbearance agreement. Okay.
Okay.
So that arrearage is a little bit reduced. Now, how we have motivated this particular borrower to pay is because she is so underwater, we are going to take that arrearage and reduce it by half if she pays the first 6 months on time every time. Then the next 6 months, if she pays on time every time, we're going to reduce the other half of the arrearage. So now she's just got a little over $100,000 that is her balance due. Again, current market value is $80,000. So if she cash flows for us at $700 a month, which is our agreed upon price, we will have collected $13,000 in change in 12 months, okay, plus the $5,000 reinstatement fee. So now we're at $13,000 of our $37,500 back, and then we're going to get refinanced out at 97.5% through FHA 1023. 97.5% of $80,000 is $78,000.
Okay, so doing some quick math, you're getting about $91,000 on a $37,000 Well, maybe you're at 42,000 with your workout costs.
Correct.
But you're more than doubling your money over what
Correct.
kind of a time period?
12 months.
12 months.
Yep.
That sounds like a very good success story to me. And you don't even have to put a hard hat on or break your nails and go get dirty in a house flip, huh?
Exactly. And I've done the house flips too, as you know.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you for just walking us through all the details of a deal, because a lot of people have never heard of this and they don't know how it all works. And you're talking about monthly payments and workout costs. It's all new.
Sure.
Vocabulary to me even. So very interesting.
Sure. And Holly, understand that scenario, it generally, when we go into a note, out of every 10 notes that we get, about a third of the people will be able to reperform like that. Mm-hmm. That's a great success story where we have very high hopes and everything is going along as planned. That's a like best case scenario type of situation. So understand that there are some that are not always best case scenario. There are some that a third of them will end up in foreclosure, and that will take a little bit of time. But generally in non-performing notes, there's about 23 different exit strategies, okay? Yes, I know. We generally only employ 4 of them. However, and that's the big question mark when you go into a note. When you buy a house for a fix and flip, as you know, you can walk through the house, you see what the interior condition is in, you know your rehab budget, etc. When you're buying a note, we don't always have that opportunity, okay? So the big question mark is, how are we going to have an exit strategy with the borrower? We don't know what the borrower is going to do because we can't talk to them yet.
Right.
Okay, so until we buy the note. So we have to have some preset criteria, which we do. And when we do our due diligence to find these notes, and once we find these notes, then we'll be able to kind of pinpoint, okay, how much money are we going to make if we have to do foreclosure, if we have to do short sale, if we have to do a deed in lieu of foreclosure, and if we're able to get them to reperform. And if we don't make money on paper at every stage of those exit strategies, then we don't even bother to buy the note, okay? Because it's really important that we make money at every stage, no matter what the exit strategy is going to end up being.
Awesome. How long have you been doing this?
That's a good question. I actually have been studying notes for about 3 years now. I did a lot of research for the first year and a half, and then I started getting into buying my own notes about a year and a half ago, and I've really shifted a lot of my focus. Now about 85% of my company's focus is in notes and has been from the beginning of the year. So it's
interesting,
fascinating.
And are you finding plenty of opportunity? Because I did hear, I went to some kind of a note seminar probably in January of 2016, and they were saying that there was a lot more competition and the profits were smaller and people were having to pay higher prices for the notes. It's very similar to the flips that are happening in Southern California.
Exactly.
And they've noticed that transition over the last couple of years. What's been your experience? I guess you've only been doing it for a couple of years, but have you found the market getting more challenging, or is there still plenty of opportunity?
Well, no, there's absolutely plenty of opportunity. There's currently $1.38 billion worth of bad debt out there. So I think there's a really large pie. That being said, I understand that me, myself, and I have been studying for the 3 years. I have partnered up with now my mentor, who has also been in notes for over 5 years. And the two of us have really developed some great rapport with, we buy from regional banks, we buy from asset managers of hedge funds, we buy directly from hedge funds, and then we also buy from brokers. And the key part about note buying, Holly, is that you have to execute. If you go to these gentlemen and these women and say to them, listen, I'm interested in this note, and you do your due diligence, you have to do a lot of due diligence, okay? And you have to do a lot of it free due diligence ahead of time, and then paid due diligence after you've got an acceptance of your offer. Mm-hmm. But the thing with these people, these bank managers, these brokers, and these asset managers is when you say you're going to do something, you actually have to do it. So my mentor and now business partner and myself have really executed, and so a lot of these hedge fund managers and banks and asset managers are coming to us first with what's called a tape. It's their list of, it's an Excel spreadsheet, basically, that is a list of their assets, and they'll give us first crack at it. And that's huge, because, you know, they know we're going to perform when we say we're going to perform. So that's a key point of note investing.
Well, I think that is a key point to success in life. I was just telling my kids that the other day, because I've got 2 teenage boys, and one is more social, outgoing, and friendly, and one is more keeps to himself.
Sure.
Hey, the one that is more outgoing and is friends with people is going to be able to do more deals, have more business, have more opportunities in life, relationships, and integrity, and doing what you say you're going to do, and
Absolutely.
performing and helping others. All of that is going to be a huge factor in success, as demonstrated by you. So, yeah, I mean, your mentor, I'm sure, would not have wanted to take you on as a business partner, and you guys wouldn't be getting all these opportunities if you weren't of the character that you are. So that says a lot about you. Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Well, there's a couple different directions we could go. We've got about 10 minutes left here.
Oh my goodness.
I know. We're just having so much fun here. Do you want to talk briefly about the steps to acquire the notes? I know you kind of just did, but is there anything more that you want to elaborate on there?
Well, I just really want to stress to everybody, because there's the opportunity to just go out there, go online, sign up for a website and buy a note. Okay. You actually can do that. And I stress, please don't do that unless you know what you're doing, unless you have your ways that you can do your due diligence, because there are a lot of steps that go into it. So if you're interested in note buying, absolutely, you know, hook up with a mentor, start learning. My mentor and I, well, now my business partner, and I work with a lot of different investors, you know, that we've developed relationships over time, of course, that we know, that will come to the opportunity, and they realize how beneficial it can be, not only for the community, but for their pocketbook.
Oh, absolutely.
But, you know, it's just so important not to get hurt, not to go out and say, oh, I'm going to do this, and then not know what you're doing and get yourself in trouble. So due diligence is hugely important. There's a variety of different steps that could be a whole other show, Holly. But know that we take great pains to go through and do the due diligence and make sure that the comp value is where it's supposed to be, that there's no delinquent taxes, or if there are, we're aware of them if we have to pick them up and take care of them. If there are any junior lien holders, if there's any, you know, behind us, we need to know that. Because if we take a property as a deed in lieu of foreclosure, now we're going to be responsible for the junior lien holders. So we need to have all that information. We need to know if there's any judgments against the borrowers that might travel with the property. So there's a variety of different things that we need to know, that are free due diligence, but there's also some paid due diligence. Also really, really, really important, we never buy a note without somebody going to the property and eyes on the property and taking pictures, whether we are lucky enough to contact a local realtor and have them do that for us, or if we have a service, go and do that for us. But that is hugely important. I've heard horror stories of note investors that just buy the note. They've seen the picture on Zillow or Trulia or Google Earth, and then 6 months earlier, the house is burned down. So now you don't have anything to collateralize the debt that you just bought. So hugely important to make sure that you have someone, I don't care who it is, go by and lay eyes and take pictures of that property and make sure it's still standing.
What great advice. And that was kind of going to be my next question is, are there bad notes out there? And that would be a bad note if someone's selling you something with no collateral. Are there other kinds of bad notes out there that people need to be aware of and avoid?
You know, really, I like to say that there are no bad notes. I like to say that there's bad buying of notes. So if you don't do your due diligence, then yes, you're going to get hurt. If you do your due diligence, you will not find a bad note.
Okay, very interesting. It's not just a matter of pricing. Like,
sure.
House. I mean, I'll probably buy any house. It's a question of what price will I pay for it.
Exactly, exactly. And you know as well as any flipper out there that if you buy badly, if you pay too much, then your profit margin shrinks, right?
Or disappears.
Or disappears completely or goes under.
Yes.
The same thing with notes. The
Yeah,
same
they
thing.
say you make your money on the buy. I'm sure it's very similar in note buying as to buying the actual house.
It is.
So, I think you already touched on this about where you're finding your deals and how you're buying them. A lot of it's through relationships. Anything else you want to add to that?
All of it is through relationships. All of it is through relationships. And that's the thing, you know, real estate, Holly, you and I have had this conversation a couple of different times. Real estate is a team sport. It just is. You can't do it all yourself. And if you don't have good relationships with the people that are on your team or in your sphere of influence, then you're not going to get very far. As I said with note buying, you know, the $1.38 billion in bad debt right now, and we're going to go into a whole new wave of it again. That's a very big pie. And if you've got your relationships established, whether you're with your investors, your team members, your boots on the ground, etc., then you're going to do well and be successful.
Love it.
Yeah.
Lots of opportunity. I get so excited. So how are you funding your deals? How are you buying these notes?
Well, a lot of them, again, notes, unlike houses. Houses have hard money lenders that you can tap those resources. If you're lucky enough that you can get, it's just a cosmetic flip, you can get conventional financing. That's rare. Notes are different. They're cash and carry. So, of course, myself and my business partner have our own cash into these deals. But as I explained before, we also work with joint venture partners, investors that we have known and developed relationships with, that we bring the opportunity to them, and they're able to benefit too. So that's largely how we fund our notes. Yeah.
Awesome. I know. It's just so exciting. I was talking about that with my husband last night, how whenever you find a great opportunity, you're going to get to the point where there's only so much money and time that one person has. Then
Right.
you have to either get other people's money, other people's time to take advantage of those opportunities. And
Sure.
You're doing that. Love to hear that.
Sure. And you know, people, what I'm finding most is that the self-directed IRAs, this opportunity is perfect for self-directed IRAs. You know, because a lot of times they are earning just minimal percentage, and we are able to give them a much higher percentage rate for their IRAs, and that's a legacy build, as you know. You know, that's your retirement tax-free. It's a legacy build. I am not an investment advisor, so I don't want to go down that path, but I am finding that some of the investors that we work with, it's the perfect vehicle for them, and they just love it.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. And I'm thinking that could be a good vehicle for me to check into with my kids' college savings accounts, because we do self-directed college education savings accounts. That's what it's called, a CISA, or Coverdell account. So that's another opportunity for you if you're talking to people with self-directed, that they could explore that opportunity.
Perfect. I will ask that question of them. Thank you.
Well, let's, we just got a few more minutes, but why don't you talk to us about probably your strengths and your important characteristic that help you become successful at this. So if people are wondering if they can do it, so that maybe they can identify with you, see if they have some of those same characteristics or skills that you do.
Sure. I'm actually glad that you asked that, because, you know, as I said before, I've been in this business for a very long time, and I got caught up in the whole 2007, 2008 market. It crashed. It took a lot of people down, myself included. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it just the whole real estate market imploded. It did, and so that, for me, the characteristic that's most important, I think, is perseverance and dedication, and team. Team is huge in my life. I have great team members. I have great mentors. I have people that I surround myself, like yourself. We are part of a women's real estate network. You know, from newbies to very experienced investors, and it's great that we're empowering each other. And so, you know, I think that determination, that perseverance, and honesty, that's a big one. That's a big one. You know,
I agree with
what
that.
you say you're going to do. It's hugely important, and if you surround yourself with people that are like-minded, that is tremendous as well. So.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for mastermind groups and meeting people at the local real estate investment clubs and associations. That'll help you go far. Well, and let's just close with a little bit of discussion about women. I think women could have an even easier time doing this type of investing versus trying to go out and flip houses when they're, deal with these male contractors. Usually it's male, and they try and take advantage of women a lot of times. And women that might be intimidated by that whole thing could definitely have an advantage here, where most of the work is probably over the phone, right?
Yes, it is. Phone and computer, absolutely. And then, but yes, you're absolutely right. There's there's a lot of advantage for women. But Holly, honestly, I've always been of the mindset that women have more power than they think they have. And yes, it's, as you know, because you've done so many fix and flips and you're in that market and dealing with contractors, that it is difficult. Note investing is, I call it more gentle. I'm not afraid of hard work, as you know, but I also have found that I prefer to work smart. So this for me is tremendous. And I think if you're a woman and you want to get out there and do fix and flips and manage your contractors, you can do it. You just have to have that belief, and surround yourself with people like we do that will encourage you to say you can do it. I really believe that. And so, yes, but note investing for me is a gentler form of investing. So if the intimidation factor is there for a woman to deal with a contractor, then maybe this is the better avenue to go.
Yes, and I think people skills are one of the biggest factors here. If you're trying to work out deals with borrowers, if you're the one talking to them, I would think a woman would have a lot more ability in general than a man, because women talk more, they're more empathetic, they're more, compassionate, and that's going to come through, on the phone when you're trying to work out a deal with a borrower. They're going to feel that true empathy and care and concern, where in general, that analytical man might kind of be like, well, when are you going to pay? And might not win over the borrower as quickly as a nice, sweet female voice, such as your own.
Oh, well, you're sweet for that, and I appreciate that. I will say this, though. When we don't actually, I myself do not actually contact the borrower. We do employ, and that's part of the kind of workout cost. We employ a third-party debt servicing company, largely because there's some Dodd-Frank laws and some rules and regulations that are in place that we want to make sure that we don't violate. But like you said, surprisingly enough, a lot of the debt servicing companies have women employees that reach out to the borrowers on our behalf. So it's kind of a step removed, which also makes it a little more gentle, because we women are empathetic. If somebody is on hard times and they don't pay, and our only choice is to foreclose, that is handled by the third-party company. So that's a little easier for us. But yes, you're right. That's why they largely employ women.
Interesting. Well, here we are at the end of our time, but I really appreciate all of your insights. If people want to learn more about you, from you, are there investment opportunities with your company as well?
There are.
Okay, talk about that and give us some contact info verbally, and then we'll also publish that in our show notes. So if people can't take notes, they'll be able to click a link to get to you. So go ahead and
absolutely. Thank you. No, I do a free 30-minute consultation, and how you would sign up for that is you go to cashflowchick.com. www.cashflowchick.com, cashflowchick.com, and sign up, and we will set up a meeting time for your free 30-minute consultation. Again, note investing is not for everybody. I personally love it, and my investors love it, and I'd love to talk to your listeners about it too, to see if it's a good fit.
Yeah. Fantastic. And so they can also reach you through your website there at Cashflow.
Just go to Cashflow
Consult. They just want to, maybe reach out to you with an email or something. They can click that as well, right?
That's the best way. If they just go to cashflowchick.com, I personally handle all of the emails that come in through that site. So that's the best way to reach me, and I'll reach back out to you. Also, if you don't mind for a second, Holly, we do have the women's organization where you and I met. We are having a cannot miss meeting on October 23rd. It's Ren Inspires, Ignite Your Fire from Within. We are having a fantastic meeting with amazing panel of speakers, and I'd love it for any of your listeners, no matter what your real estate investment experience is, whether you're brand new or you're a seasoned investor, it's going to be a can't miss amazing meeting. So go to reninspires.com, WREN inspires.com, and we'll have that information for you to attend the meeting. That would be great.
Yeah, that's for people in Los Angeles, just in case people are wondering. Because
they can come if they want. If they want to come from out. I understand. It might be a little travel.
Yeah, we'll have to talk to Deborah, the founder of Red, and see if she can start to get some virtual opportunities going there where people can, Skype in or whatever. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Thank you again. This has been fantastic, giving us insights into your strategies and your successes. Thank you so much for your time and for sharing.
Thanks for having me.
Can't wait to talk to you again. We'll have you again.
Sounds good, Holly. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
Okay. Bye-bye. Hey there. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like it and click subscribe to get notified of more videos. And you can go to hardhatholly.com for a free download on secrets to finding great deals.